Students, today we are going to perform experiment number 2, and that is complexometric titration. The aim of the experiment is to determine the hardness of given water sample by this titration, which is also known as EDTA method. Now, what is hardness of water? Hardness of water is that characteristic which prevents the leathering of soap, or we can say that it is the soap consuming capacity of water. It is due to the presence of dissolved salts of mainly calcium and magnesium along with other heavy metals in water. Hardness is of two types, temporary and permanent. Temporary hardness, which is also called carbonate or alkaline hardness, is caused by the presence of dissolved bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. This hardness can be removed by boiling of water. On the other hand, permanent hardness, which is also called non-carbonate or non-alkaline hardness, is due to the presence of dissolved chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Unlike temporary hardness, this hardness cannot be destroyed on boiling. Advanced methods are used for its removal. Hardness of water is commonly expressed as calcium carbonate in milligram per liter or ppm. Now let us look at the reagents which we are going to use in this experiment. Number 1 is EDTA solution. EDTA stands for ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, and a disodium salt of EDTA is used in this experiment. Number 2, erythrome black tea, which is also called EBT, and this is going to function as the indicator of our experiment. Number 3 is the ammonia buffer, having the composition of NH4Cl and NH4OH, and this is used to establish a pH 10 in our experiment. At pH 10 or around pH 10, the reactions of this titration are going to take place. During this titration, there is a complex formation between the hardness causing ions and EDTA as well as EBT. Now these two complexes are formed at 10 pH, and that's why we need to establish this pH of 10 in this experiment by using ammonia buffer. The fourth reagent which we are going to use in this experiment is standard calcium carbonate solution. Now why this method of titration is called complexometric titration? As I told you that this titration involves the complex formation between the hardness causing ions, that are calcium and magnesium, with two reagents of our experiment. One is EDTA and one is EBT. Now the endpoint can be determined by the different stabilities of these complexes, and hence the name complexometric titration is given to this volumetric titration. Now before moving to the procedure and theory of this experiment, let us have the look at the structures of the two reagents which are going to form complex with the hardness causing ions. One is EBT, which is going to act as a metal ion indicator. It is specifically called metal ion indicator because it binds with the metal ion to give one precise color or specific color. The EDT on the right hand side, you can see that the structure, and you can notice that it is having 6 coordination sites available on it. And these 6 coordination sites are going to help it to function as a hexadentate ligand. Now this reagent EDTA is also called chelating agent because it forms chelates with the hardness causing ions, which are here calcium and magnesium. Now let us talk about the indicator and then after that the EDTA reagent on the coming slides. Erythrome black tea can be abbreviated as H3D, and this H3D means that it is having 3 replaceable protons available on its structure. So in the highly acidic pH, it exists in H3D form, which is black in color. Now the color of this indicator is pH dependent, and in the basic pH, it is present in dissociated forms. The other forms, the dissociated forms of EBT at different basic pH can be H2D-, HD-2 and D-3. H2T minus exists at pH 6, around pH 6, and it is red in color. The pH of our titration is around 10, and you can notice that at the pH from the pH 7 to 11, this is existing in HD minus 2 form, which is blue in color. And at the very high pH around 12, it is completely deprotonated and it is existing in D minus 3 form, which is orange in color. Now let us have a look and discussion on EDTA. EDTA, as I told you, is a hexadentate ligand and it is having 6 sites present on it, through which it can donate 6 pairs of electron to the central metal ion. The central metal ion with which it is going to form the complex in this titration are calcium or magnesium. EDTA can also be abbreviated as H4Y. H4 means it is having 4 replaceable hydrogen present on it, which are coming from the 4-acetic acid group. Now, as mentioned in the first slide that we are going to use the disodium salt of EDTA, the reason is that EDTA is less soluble in water, and when we are using it in titration, we need the maximum solubility so that the quick reactions takes place. And that's why the disodium salt of EDTA has been used. Now, there are different forms of EDTA and which are also pH dependent. H4Y, that is the fully protonated form of EDTA, exists only when the pH is highly acidic. In the pH range of 3 to 10, the species which exist in the solution is either H2Y2 minus or H3Y minus. The pH at which we are conducting the titration is 10, around 10. So we will be having either H2Y2 minus or H3Y minus ions predominantly present in our reaction mixture. At the very high pH above 10, the fully unprotonated form of Y4 minus is dominant, and we will be having either H2Y2 minus or H3Y minus form existing in our solution when the pH is around 10. So the form of EBT which is existing in the reaction mixture at pH 10 is HD minus 2, which is blue in color, whereas the form of EDTA which is existing in the reaction mixture is either H2Y2 minus or H3Y minus. Now let us come to the theory of this titration. Now what we are going to do, we are going to take a water sample containing the hardness causing ion calcium or magnesium in it. After that, we are going to add the buffer solution to it. The buffer solution is having NH4Cl and NH4OH, and that will establish the pH 10. After adding the buffer solution, when the pH is established 10, we are going to add our indicator, and that indicator is EBT. Upon the addition of EBT, there will be a wine red coloration in the reaction flask, and that is due to the formation of calcium or magnesium EBT complex. Calcium or magnesium EBT complex is slightly less stable than the second complex which is going to form in this titration. Once we get the wine red color solution, we will begin our titration with EDTA, which will be filled in the burette. Now when we start adding EDTA from the burette into the hard water, and that is wine red in color due to the complex formation between EBT and calcium magnesium ion, the second complex formation begins. And the second complex which is going to form is of calcium or magnesium ion with EDTA. Now this complex is colorless and it is very more stable than the first complex which is formed in our reaction mixture. The second reaction will continue until all the calcium or magnesium ions which are present in the water sample are binded with EDTA, and the wine red color will slightly start losing its intensity. Once all the calcium magnesium ions which were there in the sample water have binded with EBT or EDTA, a state will reach that there will be no free calcium magnesium ion. At this state, the reaction number 3 will take place, and that is the calcium magnesium EBT complex will break, and the calcium magnesium ion freed from there are going to bind with EDTA because it gives the better stability to the complex, and free EBT will be released in the solution. Now this EBT is in HD-2 form, and in HD-2 form it is blue in color, so the color will change from wine red to blue at the end point. The third reaction is showing us the reaction that is going to take place at the end point, and that is that EBT, calcium EBT complex or magnesium EBT complex is going to break. The freed calcium magnesium ions are now going to bind with EDTA because EDTA gives more stable complex to these ions as compared to EBT, and that is going to decide, or that is going to help us to make out that the reaction is over once we get the blue color in the solution. Now let us have a look at the structure of this metal EDTA complex. The metal here is calcium or magnesium. So metal ion is going to bind with EDTA, which is hexadentate, and we are going to get a chelate which is highly stable. So high stability of calcium magnesium EDTA complex is due to the chelate formation, which renders high stability and is having a high stability constant. So through this slide you can see that EDTA is combining with the metal ion, which can be either calcium or magnesium, both of which are hardness causing and leading to the formation of ring-like structure, and central metal ion is surrounded from 6 sides by the one indicator only and giving rise to a octahedral complex and rendering extra stability to this complex. Now here the chemical reaction which is taking place at the end point, that is the third reaction, is being shown with the help of complete structures of the reagents which are there. So what reaction is taking place? The reaction is, third reaction is between EDTA and calcium or magnesium EBT complex. So pink color complex which is shown here on the extreme left is representing the wine red color solution, wine red complex of metal EBT, that is reacting with EDTA, and the metal ions freed from the EBT are binding with EDTA, and EBT, free EBT is released, which is giving the blue color. So the color changes from wine red to blue, and that is shown here through two colors and the complete structures of the reagents. Now let us have the color visualization of these reagents or of these complexes which are formed, or the color change that is going to take place at the end point. The color A, or the color of the flask A, is wine red, and this color we are going to get in when we have not started the titration with EDTA. It is due to the formation of calcium or magnesium EBT complex at pH 10. Now flask B is showing the purple color which is just near the end point, but at this point the titration is not over. And the C color, C flask, is showing the blue color that we are going to get at the end point, because at this point there is a complex formation between calcium or magnesium with EDTA specifically, and blue color is due to the freed EBT which is there at pH 10, and we see the blue color, that is the color at the end point. So wine red color which is in flask A changes to blue color in flask C, and in this way we can make out that this is the color change that is going to take place. We never have to stop the titration at point B, because point B is just little away from the end point, so we have to add EDTA till we get this wine red, till we get this blue color. Now, after understanding the theory part of the experiment, let us come to the procedure. The procedure has been divided into several parts and we will take them one by one. Part A is the preparation of standard solution of CaCO3. CaCO3 is not soluble in water and it will be prepared indirectly. So 0.2 or 0.3 gram of CaCO3 will be given to you, and that has to be transferred into a 250 ml standard flask with the help of the funnel. Once the salt enters into the flask, we will be adding HCl into it drop-wise, and upon adding HCl, the reaction which is written on this slide is going to take place. CaCO3, which is insoluble in water, will convert into CaCl2, which is highly water soluble, and along with this there will be CO2 evolution. So we will observe effervescence on the addition of HCl into the CaCO3 powder. And once this effervescence subsides, what we will notice that there is a very clear solution at the bottom of the flask. And after that we have to add distilled water up to the mark in the flask, which will represent 250 ml, and then we will shake it well for further use. We will be calculating the molarity of this solution by taking the weight 0.2 or 0.3 gram. Whatever weight is given to us, that will be used to calculate the molarity of this CaCO3 solution, and we are going to get a clear solution which is indirectly of CaCl2. Now this is the calculation part for part A. So here we have just calculated the molarity of CaCO3, and to calculate the molarity, the formula is W into 4 upon molecular weight of CaCO3. Molecular weight of CaCO3 is 100. So we are going to get the molarity after putting the weight of the CaCO3 which has been provided to you. Now let's come to the part B, and part B is standardization of EDTA. From the first iteration you must have understood that what does standardization means. Standardization means that we are finding out the normality or molarity of that particular solution with the help of one primary standard. So the primary standard for this titration is CaCO3 solution, which we have prepared in part A, and EDTA is the secondary standard whose molarity we are going to determine through this part. So let us see what we are going to do. You have to pipette out 25 ml of the prepared CaCO3 solution from part A in a flask, conical flask. After that, we are going to add 5 ml of the buffer solution with the help of measuring cylinder. This buffer solution is going to establish the pH 10 in our reaction mixture. And after that, we will add the indicator, which is Erychrome black tea or EBT. Once we add EBT, the color of the solution will turn wine red. Now we will titrate this wine red color solution with EDTA, which is also called Versine solution, until the color changes to blue. Now wine red color is due to calcium or magnesium EBT complex. During the titration there is calcium or magnesium EDTA complex formation. Wine red color solution is due to calcium or magnesium EBT complex, and the blue color is due to free EBT. And then at this blue color we will stop the titration, endpoint has reached, and we will note down the volume of EDTA that is consumed for this titration and which will be used for calculating the molarity of EDTA. We will take 3 trials so that we get the concordant reading, and we will record these readings in the observation table. In the burette we have taken EDTA. In the conical flask, 25 ml of CaCO3 solution has been taken, 5 ml of buffer solution added with measuring cylinder along with EBT. We got wine red color, and then when we titrated it with EDTA, we stopped at blue color appearance, and that was our endpoint. So we will be recording the readings upon getting the blue color in this observation table, and then we will calculate the molarity of EDTA. Now you can see the formula that is used for calculating the molarity of EDTA is written on the slide. The volume of CaCO3 which we have taken for the titration is 25 ml. Molarity of CaCO3 we have calculated in part A, and volume of EDTA that is consumed we are going to get through these 3 titrations, and we will be using the concordant value uh, for the calculation. And once we put all the values, we will get the molarity of EDTA. So by part B, we have achieved the molarity of EDTA. Now let us move to part C, and in this part C we will be determining the hardness of the given sample water. Now the hardness of given sample water has to be estimated in two ways. First we will be estimating the total hardness, then we will be estimating the permanent hardness through titrations, and finally after getting these two hardness we will be finding out the temporary hardness by subtracting permanent hardness from the total hardness. So what is done over here in this slide is the determination of total hardness of the water sample. For this part, what we will do, we have to take 100 ml of sample hard water in a flask. This 100 ml we are going to take with the help of 100 ml standard flask. After that, the procedure is entirely same. We will be adding 5 ml of buffer solution with the help of measuring cylinder and 3-4 drops of EBT. Wine red color will be obtained, and that will be titrated with EDTA till a blue color is obtained at the end point. We will be noting down the titer values to get the concordant values, and then we will be calculating the molarity of the sample water, and further we will be calculating the total hardness of this sample water through calculations. So here this table is showing us that we have to record the titration we have to record the volume of EDTA that is consumed for the titration of 100 ml of sample water in these observation table, and then we have to calculate the molarity of the sample water through the formula which is given. In this formula, the things which will be used is volume of EDTA, which we are going to get through the titration of this part, molarity of EDTA, which we have calculated in part B, and volume of sample hard water, which we have taken in this titration, that is 100 ml. After putting all these values, we will get the molarity of the sample water. Now we have to convert this molarity of sample water into hardness, and for that what we will do, we will multiply the molarity of sample water with the molecular weight of CaCO3, which is 100. So upon multiplying it, we will get the strength of hardness or strength of the water sample in terms of hardness in grams per liter. As mentioned in the beginning that hardness is expressed in milligram per liter or ppm, we will be multiplying this Z value which we have obtained by multiplying molarity of sample water with molecular weight of CaCO3 with 1000. So we will multiply Z with 1000, and that will give us the total hardness of the water sample in milligram per liter. Now after determining the total hardness of the given water sample, we will find out the permanent hardness of the same sample through titration. And once we are having the permanent hardness value, temporary hardness can be obtained simply by subtracting the permanent hardness from the total hardness value. To determine the permanent hardness, we need to boil the water, and then this boiled water will be cooled and will be used for the titration. When we do the boiling of water, the temporary hardness goes off, and hence the water sample, that is the boiled water, is left only with the permanent hardness. So what we will do, we will pipette out 25 ml of this cooled boiled water in a conical flask, and then we will add the buffer solution to maintain the 10 pH, followed by the addition of 3 to 4 drops of the indicator, which will give the wine red color, and then this wine red color solution will be titrated with EDTA solution till the color changes to blue, which is our endpoint color. And we will be using this titer value to calculate the permanent hardness of the sample. So we will be recording the burette reading in this table, and then we will be using this reading to calculate the molarity of the boiled water. So to determine the molarity of the boiled water, the equation which has to be used is only having M1V1 M2V2 type formula, and then we have to put Vp, that is the volume of EDTA that is consumed for boiled water titration, molarity of EDTA which we have calculated in part B, divided by the volume of boiled water which we have taken, and that is 25 ml. Once we get the molarity of the boiled water, which is shown here by the term MP, we are going to convert it into permanent hardness by multiplying it with the molecular weight of CaCO3, which will give us the result in gram per liter, and further multiplying the same value with 1000 to get our permanent hardness value in milligram per liter or parts per million, that is ppm. And after that we will calculate the temporary hardness in the similar manner by subtracting the permanent hardness from the total hardness. And once we are having all these three values, we are going to report them in the result. Total hardness, permanent hardness and temporary hardness has to be reported in the result part, and that completes our experiment. Thank you.